So I love that. That's by Alanis Morissette, in case you didn't know. And what I love is today's all about me. Of course I love that. Today, but what I'm going to suggest is that you step into that you start getting it. It is all about you. It's all about me. And the second line is learning how to receive. And I love that Julio started us off on this conversation. So low self-esteem and low self-worth are worse than cancer. They are the biggest killers in this world. People that somehow grow up, become adults, and have problems loving themselves, believing in themselves, knowing how powerful they are. Part of it is, and Julio said it and I agree, part of it is religion, not spirituality, but religion has done a very big disservice to most people in the way it teaches us to knock ourselves down, to think of ourselves as less than, to think of ourselves as sinners, when there's no such thing as sin, there's just mistakes that we make. And so we have to, literally, when we come into philosophies like this, we have to suddenly reroute our entire life and say, wait a minute, none of that's true, to get back to a place where we believe in ourselves again. We don't come out of the womb with low self-esteem. Babies are not born with low self-worth. Babies come out of the womb saying, feed me, and expect it to be done, right? That's what they do. They come out of the womb and sometimes all the way through 19 or 20 or 23, they are saying, feed me, house me, clothe me, take care of me. I deserve it. When did we lose that? Because it's what we should be saying to ourselves. I deserve all of it. I am worth all of it. I am worth a phenomenal, fabulous, exceedingly expansive career. I am worth all the money I could possibly spend and then have even more to give away even more. I am worth the most amazing love there is on this planet. I am worth and equal to the most vibrant, healthy body to live the longest life ever. When did we forget that? When did we start, divvying out all of this stuff as though it was rations? So today is all about me. This month is all about you getting out of the shadows of your life, stepping into the spotlight, and standing there and saying, like Donia did last week, this is me. And by the way, a big nod to Donia for what she did last week. It's time. It's time. You're all sitting in this room, so you can't say anymore that some religion that you were brought up in has held you back, or some mother that raised you has held you back, or some boss that pisses you off all the time held you back, is holding you back. There are no excuses, folks. We have no excuses in religious science. There are no excuses. There's just the actual demonstration of the way you use your mind. That's all it is. That's what God is. God is this divine, creative energy that flows through each one of us, and I love that, Joselito, that nudges us, that reminds us who we are, and says, you know what? You are loved by God, which means love yourself because you are God. Don't wait around for someone to tell you how great you are. Don't try to get people to tell you how great you are so that you'll believe it. Just believe it. That's what this month is about. Receiving. Being able to receive the truth of who you are from everywhere you want to find it. And here's the deal. When you know who you are, people show up to remind you. When you don't know who you are, the people show up to hold you back, to keep you down. So look in your life. If you've got people in your life that are holding you down, that are insulting you, that are keeping you in this kind of shallow way of living, move on. As I always say, treat for their highest and furthest. So there's one of the reasons why we don't allow our good. One of the reasons why we don't allow ourselves to receive all of our good. And this month, I really want you to pay attention to when you turn something down. If someone says to you, let me take you to lunch, all you hands that went up, say thank you. Or someone wants to pay the bill, say thank you. As much as it kills you to do it, Force yourself to get back to understanding that anything that's coming towards you, you've earned. You don't get anything by accident, just to be clear. You don't get anything by accident. You don't get compliments by accident. How many people here have a hard time taking compliments? Okay? In the great words of my mentor, Dr. David Walker, get over it, Blanche. And I always thought he meant Blanche Dubois. He meant Blanche from the Golden Girls. So if you can't take a compliment, frankly, you really need to do some soul searching to find out why. Why do you still hold off letting people tell you how great you are? You know why? Because you don't believe it. It's uncomfortable. You know, I was raised in a family where they would say, you know, you're too big. You say, you're always on stage. It's like, life is a stage. I should be on it, otherwise I'm in outer space. So whatever it is that stops you from accepting compliments or accepting gifts or accepting love from other people, and I know there are people in this room that have a hard time accepting love. It's uncomfortable, right? So, I love that you're all pointing to each other. So, what is that about? How many people took the heart math workshop, either on the cruise or in the, yeah. Reverend Helen's heart math workshop was amazing to me. The scientific understanding that the heart sends out a wave of energy that is 10 times the size of what the brain sends out means that people in proximity to one another, all of you, believe it or not, are within the heart energy of the person next to you and the one down. I think that's about right. So just look around this room. This whole room has an energetic field of heart energy. The collective consciousness of this room right now in this moment, I would expect to be enormously high after listening to this lady sing. And that's why you love it here. That's why we love coming here on Sunday, because our hearts, our energy keeps coming out. However, what's important is to receive it, because there are people that you could come sit right in this room and be pushing away everything that's coming towards you. This is your month to stop pushing away your life. Stop pushing away the love. Stop pushing away the success. Ernest Holmes says this: our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which of itself is without limit. Your beliefs set the limit to what you can accomplish in life. We all know that. He goes on to say, this principle is ready to fill everything because it is infinite. So it is not a question of God's willingness or God's ability to provide everything you need. It is entirely a question of our own receptivity. Ernest Holmes. So it's not that everything isn't fully available, pure potentiality, everything possible. The only problem with this equation, and the only reason why you sit here today still trying to figure things out or still wanting more, is because you haven't been willing to receive it. That's what you get to do this month. I'm telling you, you turn that around in your life, you start being willing to receive what is yours to receive, and you will experience it and you will live that life. Ernest Holmes also said this: the universal personifies itself through man in varying degrees according to man's receptivity of it. What that means is every religion, including Catholicism, teaches God is all there is. Baltimore Catechism, first grade, St. Bernard School, Philadelphia. God is all there is. God is all there is. Where is God? God is everywhere. Well, if God is all there is and God is everywhere, clearly I am God. And not just a little part of it, because I just explained how scientifically it's only one energy. So I'm all of that energy because I am in the midst of all of that energy. As Ernest Holmes said at the end of his life, I am not one with God, I'm one of God. I am one of God. Of all of this, I am that. So understanding that, it's your mental receptivity to it that gives you the life that you're going to live. You can accept God at the lowest level of poverty and live God at the poverty level. You can accept God at the highest chain of opulence and live at that level as God. You can live God in pain. You can live God in freedom. You can live God in success. You can live God in failure. It's all up to you. And since it's up to you, I say have at it at the highest level possible. And that means be willing to receive it. So you have to receive your God self. That's what he's saying in that little paragraph. That we have to be willing to receive the fact that we are God. And stop playing so small, playing this game that, no, God's out there and I'm just this little person here who can, I'm good at some things. Look at me backing up. I never back up on this stage. I mean, and it feels awkward. It feels wrong. It just feels wrong. So that's the chance we get this month to really start living this receptivity. Ernest Holmes also said, God cannot give us anything unless we are in a mental condition to receive it. So the title of my talk today is The Dive. Isn't that nice? That's me. And really, Barbara took it, was it last week we filmed this? Yeah. I was snorkeling. My hair looks black in water. So, obviously it's not me. But here's the deal. So someone called me this week and very lovingly told me that there was a little bit of a rumor going around that I had gotten sick again. And they were like, what? Who didn't tell me that? I have not gotten sick again. I could not be healthier. However, I had a toothache. And because I had cancer 8 years ago and I had radiation, I can't just go to the dentist and get my tooth taken care of because I can't. So what I had to do is, I have no toothache anymore. It went away like that because I refuse pain in my life, and steroids really helps. God is in the steroids. God is in the antibiotics. We are not Christian Scientists. So, nothing against them. So, what happens to me is I have to spend 40 hours in an a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. It's like a little submarine that 8 people get in and sit in scrubs and a big metal thing around their neck and then a big plastic thing. You look like the Cat in the Hat if he was an albino, right? And had no skin pigmentation. It's just all white with this clear cloud. And then you breathe oxygen for 2 hours. Now, here's the thing about this. I was annoyed that I had to do this. I didn't think I had 5 hours in a day to drive to UCLA in the morning, which is like, I might as well fly to Pittsburgh. Sit in this, first get my blood pressure taken and all that stuff to make sure I'm okay, and then get dressed in these scrubs, get put in this helmet, and then go sit in an oxygen chamber where you sit for 2 hours. You sit for 2 hours, and then get back out, have all the things done again, get changed, and drive home, which is an easier drive because now it's noon. I didn't have time for that. And when I first got there, I looked at this place and I was like, there's no way I'm sitting in that little, I'm claustrophobic. And I had to get over that and say, I am not claustrophobic, I'm God, who experiences claustrophobia at times. And I didn't have the option this time to experience it. So I'm in there, and the people all around, very chatty, very happy, and my first day I was like, this is just not good. I was like, I'm surely I can treat this away. I've got to figure this out. But one of the things the doctor did say to me was, he said, one of the upsides to this is your face, you will look like you're 10 years younger, and your whole body regenerates at such a fast rate, it'll almost look like you had a facelift. And I went, you might have led with that. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's already getting softer and smoother. Yeah. So that is what is happening. But here's the deal. On Friday, which was my 4th, I did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, my 4th session of 60. Of 30. Of 30. It's twice a day, 2 hours in a day. So Friday, I was sitting there. Now, here's the thing. They show a movie. They pick it. I don't know who's picking these, but they show a movie. The first day, and you got to get the humor of this. The first day, I sit down and I was like, what's the movie today? And they went, Get Out. I was like, I am captive inside a miniature torpedo with a helmet on, and you're playing Get Out? I was the only one there that hadn't seen it, and everybody else like, oh, we heard it was a good movie. I said, it is. It is scary as hell, and it's about a guy held captive who they trying to cut his brains out. So needless to say, I brought a book. I brought Joe Dispenza's book, and I started reading that. But you still can't help but hear this blasting movie, and there was the one point where he's tied up, and they're trying to deal with his brains, and all of a sudden I thought, does anybody know I'm here? Did I give Kevin the address for where I am? I'm like in the 3rd underground basement of UCLA Medical Center. Maybe they're here to harvest me. Maybe this isn't real. And I'm like, that was day 1. And it was just like torture. Then I went, no, I mean, come on, how's that? I went back to my book, Joe Dispenza, who was helping me understand the supernatural elements of what I was going through. But here's what happened by Friday. I went Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday, I got there, and I sat down, and it started, all the stuff started, and I realized I hadn't been willing to receive what was going on in my life. I am so quick to say, this is not for me. I don't like this. Why is this happening? No, I'm not really quick on most things in life, but when something huge happens like this, somehow in that moment, I forgot who I was. I forgot that anything happening to me is happening for me. I forgot that in 6 weeks I'll have a beautiful facelift. I had forgotten that God is in the oxygen, that God is now willing to come through me at 10 times the capacity I'm usually breathing at. And I sat there for those 2 hours reading Joyce Belafonte's autobiography. I sat there and it flew by. And they had given me my own scrubs, so I got to come with them. Everybody thought I was a doctor when I was entering. It felt really cool. I'm walking around like, hello. So I had my own scrubs, my own shoes. And when I was done, I got to just leave. I didn't have to change again. So it took about a half hour of my day off. But I got it. Why are we so quick to not receive what's there? What if everything that happened to us, our first question was, where's the good in this? Where is my good in this? Well, that has to come from a belief that you have to have that there's good in everything. And a belief that you have to remember that you are God, and therefore whatever is going on in your life is part of God, because it's all God. Because God is everywhere. God is even in that little oxygen place, that hyperbaric oxygen chamber. So that was my week this week. And what I came out of it with was to tell you today, as we begin this month, don't resist your good. I think we spend too much time trying to figure out where our good is, and we're missing it. Don't resist your good. You don't know where that good is if you're not willing to be open to it and receive it. Participate in your good. Don't just lay around waiting for it. Participate in it. If you want something, you want a career, go get it. You want love, go get it. Be open to it. You have to be the love you want to experience. You can't sit around complaining, moping, saying, oh, this isn't happening. Oh, why doesn't this happen? Because frankly, you're just going to get the same thing over and over and over again because you're creating it mentally. You always receive what you are equal to. So receptivity is all about being equal to that which you want to receive and then being willing to receive it. Let's this month really start with understanding how to receive. And the big part is you got to get your low self-esteem out of the way. You have to get your worthiness into place and your unworthiness out of the way. There is nothing in you that you have ever done, are doing, or will ever do that can stop you from being 100% worthy of any experience you decide to have. It's about the power of your mind and the receptivity of your heart. Ernest Holmes says that demonstration happens with a powerful mind and a receptive heart. Not just a powerful mind, by the way. You can know all this stuff, and I bet many of you have this experience. You know it all, but are you experiencing it all? Are you willing to open up to it? So this month, really pay attention to how powerful your mind is, but pay even more attention to how expansive and open your heart is so that you are willing to receive everything that you can concoct up in this brilliant mind you have. This is a heart-mind community. They are intertwined. It's one thing. We cannot be all head and a little heart, or all heart and a little head. We are both things, beautifully entwined. And the minute you get that, the minute you're willing to open up and receive, the minute you are ready to think what you need to think and receive what you need to receive, every single one of us will literally move up profoundly in our lives as we live through a world of love, prosperity, creativity, and vibrant health. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.